Hey guys, Christo Garcia, My Swing Evolution. I've got an awesome treat for you today. I'm going to be breaking down my favorite Ben Hogan golf swing. I'll tell you, they're all so great, but this one particular swing is not spoken about enough. It's a little bit later in his career, so I think he has a pretty good idea of what he's doing. Now, I think most people, when they talk about Ben Hogan's golf swing, they're going to talk about the shell lesson golf swing, which is an outstanding swing. And that's the swing that I used for my Ben Hogan analysis video that's very popular. But this swing is the Father Keller swing. Oh my gosh. He is absolutely crushing this ball. And the reason why I'm bringing it to you today is because some of the things that he's working on are reminiscent of things that I'm kind of finding myself. Now, as you guys know, I swung as Ben Hogan on the Golf Channel. It was the greatest honor of my lifetime, and I am continuing to work on this material, keep researching, keep interviewing folks that actually knew Ben Hogan. And you can check out all of my research, my long-form interviews at myswingevolution.com at MSE TV with folks like Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Chichi Rodriguez, and others. Now, for this video, the one thing that I want to point out is how much speed Ben Hogan creates, and he looks totally balanced. Like he's like throwing a haymaker, but it's how he generates speed, where he generates speed, and what he's using with his lower body to make all of this happen. So let's dig in. Okay, guys, so let's watch this a couple of times. Get a couple waggles in. And wow, gosh, that action is so pure. So we'll watch it a couple more times. And after looking at that, I kind of wonder sometimes how he didn't win more than 9 majors. Now, Gary Player pointed out to me that Ben Hogan missed 30 major championships in his prime. That's crazy. That's crazy. So as we watch this swing, the legwork is just superb. That's why I'm so crazy about this swing. So the first thing I'm going to point out is check out his right foot. Normally, Mr. Hogan talked about having that foot pointed straight ahead. And I did that rather successfully for a while, and Gary Player pointed that out to me as well. He wanted that foot straight ahead. But I think when Hogan wanted to hit it a little bit farther, he'd open that foot up a little bit. So as he moves right, now we're going to watch him load into his right side. This is like a long drive swing. With one exception, he doesn't raise his left heel. But watch him rock back into his right leg and deep into his right hip. That's the move right there. That's what I'm trying to do, is get so deep into that right hip that I fall to my left. And he said that the left hip initiates the downswing, but I think that, you know, we're splitting hairs here. I think his weight falling initiates the downswing, and then we can see his hips start to open up. But he still really saved his big turn for once he gets down into the hitting area that I call Shangri-La. So let's go back to the top one more time here. See this waggle, the grip, fairly neutral to weak. He loads into the right side. Now I want to point out his hands here. This is a pretty long swing. This looks like his long drive swing, like I was mentioning. When he really takes it up over the shoulder so that club is past parallel, it looks to me like he's looking to get a little bit of extra distance. Now I want to point out one other thing. This is something that took me a long time to decipher. He's got the club outside of his hands on the way up, and watch him hinge his wrists. So Jackie Burke said that he liked to cock his wrists early. That right there, like, do you see how quickly he goes from extension to cocked, fully cocked. It happens so fast. And then he completes his shoulder turn, just hoisting it up over his shoulder. Now he's going to fall to his left. And it's just like a haymaker. It's this uppercut, like he's going to uppercut Goliath or something. The elbow is in, and there's so much stored energy here that he's just going to throw skyward and just blast that ball. You may notice that his hips look a little bit fuller. One thing I was told is after the accident, he didn't play until he would have his legs wrapped. And that's why the clothes look a lot bulkier. Granted, he did put on some weight as well, but a lot of that is from the bandaging and the way he prepped himself, you know, for support to be able to swing the golf club. So let's watch this one more time. This is just absolutely incredible. Okay, now there's one more very important thing I'd like to point out to you guys that I learned from Jody Vasquez, who worked with Mr. Hogan for about 4 years, shagging balls for him in the early 1960s. Jody told me that Mr. Hogan wanted his lead shoulder, his left shoulder, over his right shoe. So we're not talking about putting that shoulder underneath his chin, which basically about right here, it'd be under his chin. Look at how open he gets with his body. And this is later. He gets his shoulder over his right foot. That's unbelievable. From his eyes, it must look like his shoulder is covering his shoelaces. My goodness. So that's a massive amount of shoulder turn over a pretty healthy amount of hip turn. And then, just like a baseball slugger, he's going to drive with the lower body. We see the cowboy in the legs. And then we're going to watch him just release and plant into that lead foot. And we're going to have a nice little toe drag all the way up to the finish. Guys, this is the way you want to hit the ball long and straight. You can't get better than Ben Hogan. I think this is his best golf swing. So if you'd like to learn more about how I break down the Ben Hogan golf swing, definitely go to myswingevolution.com. I highly recommend the Hogan code. I try and keep everything very practical because I struggled myself for a long time. Guys, I hope you play well. I hope you hit them long and hit them straight. According to handicap statistics, if you've played the game of golf for more than 3 years, you've reached your potential. I read this about a decade ago, and I swore I was going to change the paradigm. I broke 80 14 times after not breaking 80 for over 20 years, and I decided to create My Swing Evolution. You can get better at golf. I've proven it. I don't think anybody in golf has my background in movement. I've taught karate, ballet, and yoga for years. So my lessons are practical. I'm not going to tell you to buy pool noodles or all sorts of crazy contraptions. These are things you can do mostly with just a golf club on the range to get the feeling in your body of what a great golf swing should feel like. If you want to swing like Hogan, I've got the Hogan code. If you want to compress the golf ball better, get the MSE golf system. If you want to gain distance, check out my driving evolution. I gained over 60 yards with my driver. Each of these videos is available at myswingevolution.com, or you can get access to my entire library for this limited time offer to become a member of MSE TV. It's time to become the golfer you deserve to be.